mixes of RZA's original work. RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan created this piece called A Ballet Through Mud with the Colorado Symphony Orchestra, recorded it, but it's RZA's composition. And then we toured with Wu-Tang, with RZA, through the US and Canada this past fall. Pietro then did our first Atmos mixes of this new composition while on tour with Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang also recorded some new music of their own in the 5.1 in the back. This is 714 for the Atmos mix. I also should introduce John Scanlon. He's the director of the Dolby Institute. Dolby has been an important part of this upgrade that we have been doing. And then just to give you the overview, we reached out to Battleborn batteries, and Jeff can talk more about the specifics, but this interface here is really sort of the face inside the bus of what Tyler and his team were able to do. They made a big investment in the bus to finally bring us to green solutions, including the solar that we have on top of the roof and the lithium-ion batteries that we want you to see that Tyler will show you that are in our bay down below. We started to talk about outside. But I would say those are two of the major things that are going on here. We brought on Blackmagic design cameras that you'll see around the bus as well. And I guess at this point, I'll let Jeff talk a little bit about the Atmos project, and then Tyler about the batteries.
Oh, yeah. So, our major upgrade in the last few months, as Brian said, has been to upgrade this front studio, one of the two studios, to Dolby Atmos mix room. So using Genelec monitors, we added our height speakers and side surround, so it's a 7.1.4 Atmos mix room. Dolby tuned it, so it sounds really great. We're able to do full-on Dolby Atmos mixes of student and artist projects while on the road. Kind of segueing into what Tyler can talk about, one of the great things about, having an Atmos mix room on the road is, being able to take it anywhere and work silently anywhere all day long. And the lithium-ion batteries bank that we have makes that possible. So we have all-day runtime on lithium-ion batteries running both studios simultaneously. So without any external power or running the generator, which we do have, but largely don't need it so much anymore. We're able to do all-day mix sessions.
Yeah, I think when you look at traditional batteries, which are lead acids and what the bus has run off of for a long time, there's a lot of pain points around that technology. It's very toxic. It's heavy. There's a lot of maintenance around it, and you have to replace them every couple of years. So, for a nonprofit like this, the reliability, the time required of that, having to rely on the generator that much, that's where, our solution at Battleborn Batteries, we came in and kind of gave it a massive overhaul and removed all their lead acid batteries and put in 100 kilowatt hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries, which are completely toxic free. They're a fifth of the weight for the same amount of usable power, and they're going to last these guys 10 to 15 years. So they're not going to have to worry about it anymore, which for us is huge. Like everything we look at as a company, when we look at amazing organizations like the John Lennon Educational Bus, like we want to make their life as easy on the back end of it so they can focus on the good work that they're doing. So coming in with a green solution, especially in 2024, and pushing sustainability around that is huge. So we have that 100 kilowatt hours of the Battleborn batteries, lithium iron phosphate bank. We have 2,400 watts of solar on the roof that can recharge the batteries, and then we're plugged into the alternator of the bus as well, so we can also charge while they're driving. So all renewable energy, and like Jeff said, just giving them the flexibility and the reliability of having that power, whether they want to go somewhere remote or just not having to rely on, be stuck to where they can go and get the music to more kids. Yeah, absolutely.
100% non-toxic.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, so that's the big thing. Like with lead acids, recycling has gone a long way, but if one of those end up in the landfill, I mean, you're talking acres, right, from one battery. With lithium batteries, and especially lithium iron phosphate, the chemistry that we use, there's no cobalt or anything in that. So not only is the mining a lot cleaner of it, but if that did actually end up in the landfill, completely toxic free. Nothing bad's going to happen. And then we're working with partners like Redwood Materials and Aqua Metals to push that recycling. And so we actually did a really cool proof of concept a couple months ago with Aqua Metals, where we made a battery cell, because that's our other side of the business, is manufacturing the actual cells. It's kind of the future part of it. And we did it completely out of recycled materials. And we kind of proved that was possible. So it was very small scale, but we kind of showed that the future for us is that full, what we call the lithium loop. We get the lithium from the ground, and we'll do that here in the U.S. once mines get online in the next couple of years. We have offtake agreements. We domestically manufacture the cells, which same thing. We're going to start doing that this year in Nevada. They'll go into packs like our Battleborn batteries, which is what's on the bus today, and then those batteries go to our partners like Redwood and Aqua Metals, and then we get some of that lithium back, and it goes back in. So you're just green no matter where you go.
I also wanted to have John Scanlon from the Dolby Institute just kind of give an overview of the Institute and the relationship of the Institute with the bus, how we came to work together. Obviously, our missions are similar.
Cool. Just to clarify too, not the director of the Dolby Institute, just to make sure, because my boss will get So I run the educational programs for Dolby Institute. And the idea behind this is that I've worked with the bus before. In the past, I was an educator. Thought of the bus over the years many times. And as we venture now into social impact and being able to reach students throughout universities globally, and also students from areas where maybe they can't access new technology, the bus has always been in my mind because I've actually been on it before, and the mission of the bus and the Dolby Institute is very much aligned. It's accessibility to the tool sets and to introduce young content creators into Dolby Atmos and eventually Dolby Vision, which is Dolby's imaging technology as well, which the bus is also enabled with, thanks to the partnership with Blackmagic and Dolby as well. So really the alignment of the Dolby Institute and the Lennon bus is very similar, and that's what makes this a very powerful relationship, is that we can help to introduce these new technologies to younger content creators and make sure that everyone can get their hands on it, no matter what their economic background is, etc.
Has Dolby been with the bus since the beginning?
No, this is a very new partnership this year. Yeah.
Really?
We came on board as a sponsor. Of course, the bus has many sponsors.
Right.
But again, where we're really aligned with the bus, not only as a sponsor, but just in general principle, is again the education part of this. That's really where we're helping out to help promote those aspects, so students can actually get their hands on it and work with it. Yeah.
I mean, we have some other new brands that are on there. You want to talk about the Grace product?
Yeah, as part of our Dolby Atmos upgrade, we brought in a few new pieces of gear. One that we really love is the Grace Design M908 monitor controller. The room is calibrated on that, time aligned and EQ'd, and it is great for selecting our sources and monitor control. And it does a particularly important trick for us in that it has we have this Genelec monitor system, and 8 of the monitors are being fed digitally, 4 being fed analog, and the Grace Design can do that all simultaneously because it's such a powerful matrix.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a cool trick.
Yeah.
Yep. One of the other pieces of gear we brought on is by Flock Audio. It's the Patch XT. It's down here. This is a 96-point fully analog patch bay that is digitally controlled. So it is.
How does that work?
It's magic.
That's
Yeah. So there's
Wow.
a software matrix, a software app that runs the drag and drop matrix. So you can create
That's
signal
crazy.
chains. You can create signal flows, save them. You can store them with your Pro Tools or Logic session. So when you pull up a session, it pulls up the channel signal flow for that you have for that. But the entire signal flow is analog.
That's crazy. Awesome.
Yeah, and maybe shout out just the specific Genelec loudspeakers that make up the 714.
Yeah, it's all Genelec, of course. The ear level speakers are all Genelec 8341s. The subwoofer is a 7360, and the height speakers are the Genelec 8320s. They're all SAM capable, so that they can be auto-called and tuned. And it's a really nice system.
And you mix everything off of these monitors, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're fortunate to be able to.
Awesome. This is incredible, Brian.
I think one of the coolest things too, just to mention, because you'd asked about money, and one of the coolest things about this bus is that, for instance, this last weekend, we had an artist come in that had produced something in Logic, so on her laptop. She came in, brought that into the studio, was able to record some vocals, and then transfer that over into Avid Pro Tools and mix with it. So there's also this newer thing, headphone technology, right, with Dolby Atmos and binaural audio, where this is something where a student will actually come in and experience this in a really cool environment, right? In a reference room in a very, very cool environment, but then be able to walk away and continue working on our headphones on their laptop, right?
That's awesome.
So it fills that gap there where typically when you would go into a studio, it would be like, oh, there's all this expensive gear, I don't have that.
Right.
Well, that's true still, but you can still work on your compositions, your arrangements, your work on headphones later on. So it definitely creates this sort of not seamless environment, right, where the artists can come in, the students can come in, and they really feel like they're going to walk away and they can continue
And have a product.
and have a project and continue to work
Yeah.
on it. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned that, because ultimately that, the purpose of the bus is to inspire students, and we do that by showing them the best that the industry has to offer. Sometimes that is high-end products, but it's also showing them how they can continue to work and do what they want to do, to be creative in the ways they want to be, and increasingly that's something that they're doing at home in their own environments.
But where else could they get this? Nowhere else. Access like this is
Again,
amazing.
it's it's inspiring, right? So there's not a Lennon bus everywhere, but when we go to schools, that's the other thing about it, right? More than ever before, this is our 26th year with the John Lennon Educational Tour Bus. That was always an issue for us, right? We'd go in with this incredible bus, and then we would leave, and it would, you'd feel like we inspired, and there was great value in that, and we have a lot of anecdotal, proof of, how that inspiration can translate. But, more than ever now, we're inspiring, and it is cool, and it is one of a kind, but they're learning all kinds of things that they can continue to do on their own.
They take it out with
Yeah.
them? That's awesome.
What's that, Joanne? Oh yeah, obviously, NAMM I should also mention, and the NAMM Foundation are longtime partners of the bus. We just concluded a tour over the fall that we did stops at a number of the historically black colleges and universities. We're going to be doing more of that in 2024. But a focus for NAMM and the NAMM Foundation is certainly making sure that young people know about careers in the music industry, not just the star that's in the center of the stage, but all the other allied professions that make up the music industry, the music product industry, the music business. And that's something that the bus has always been involved in, but more than ever, that's something that we're committed to doing and that we're supported in doing by the NAMM Foundation.
That's awesome. Thanks, Brian.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. This is awesome. This is beyond incredible.
And the artists some of the kids work with, like George Clinton, Jackson Brown,
Yep.
Bootsy Collins, maybe.
Yes, Bootsy Collins. So many over the years, right? That have, that's the other thing for folks who are just learning about the bus, right? So you have a nice long history of a lot of celebrity artists, like you just mentioned. Yoko herself has been on many times over the years. Working with students to listen down to their projects, to contribute to their projects, whether it's a guitar solo or a vocal or a suggestion on a mix. That's a big part of what the relationship with artists has been. Even since COVID, like I said, we've been out with Wu-Tang Clan. Prior to that, we were out for a lot of the Machine Gun Kelly tour dates. He recorded a lot of new music on board here, edited some pieces of what ended up in his documentary. So it has a long history of that, and the Black Eyed Peas probably one of our most illustrious participants over the years. Like a lot of their biggest hits were first recorded on board the Lennon bus, Let's Get It Started. It was
And there were
first
the liner
recorded.
notes and everything.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Fergie's record as well. A lot of those tracks we recorded on board. Pietro Rossi here, his mix with RZA for the upcoming Ballet Through Mud. His credit will be there in the liner notes as having been mixed in Atmos on board the John Lennon Educational Tour bus. So obviously
Plus
it's a
that's
win-win.
motivation and inspiration for the kids too to see, you know.
That's always the thing, especially today, to go to campuses and say this is the same studio that Machine Gun Kelly was working in, or that we just did our first mixes with RZA from Wu-Tang Clan, or in the 5.1 studio back there, to have them doing rough recordings of new materials, ideas that they were first generating back there. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Love what you're doing, man. And
Thanks
for it.
for the support as always. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, our pleasure.
All right.